Shabbat Shalom, everyone. That is kind of the Shabbat evening hello in the sense of like kind of schmoozing, kind of hanging out a little bit. This is one of the things I actually love about the Jewish community is how basically informal we are in that sense. And that said, I want to invite us. Let's enter into this Shabbat. Let's bring a little bit of ruach, a little bit of spirit into this evening, continued spirit. So I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom again. I want to invite us to, I know for myself, I need a little bit of a wake up. I was just running around with a gaggle of little kiddos. And so if anybody wants to do bim bam tonight, we can totally do bim bam. But let's say Shabbat Shalom to each other. Shabbat Shalom. I think that this evening is such a gift because we live in a world that insists that we produce and that we do and that we go and go and go. We even have on our phones a system that sets where if you start scrolling, it'll show you just a little bit of the next thing, just to let you know that you're never totally complete. You're never totally finished. And believe it or not, thousands of years ago, our community saw similar things. Now, I promise you they did not have Instagram. But they did have this sense of feeling like they have to go and go and go. And also this sense of feeling like this goes without an end. And they noticed something. They noticed that it's in the moments when we step back and we look at the whole that things really feel like they are complete. We know that we have a world that calls on us to do tikkun olam, to make it a better place, and at the same time, it's already an incredibly beautiful place. And so each week, on Friday, when the sun goes down, we take a minute, and we stop, and we just take a breath to notice and appreciate and celebrate what is beautiful already about our world around us. This evening, we have the opportunity to celebrate not just this holiday, but we have some other treats as well. First of all, Naomi is celebrating her bat mitzvah this weekend. Woo! So we'll have an opportunity to celebrate. We'll bring light into this evening and, maybe hear a little bit of Hebrew from her as well. And we have a special treat this evening as well, as we are joined by our very own student, Rabbi Leah, who is going to be singing and bringing her words, teachings to us this evening, helping us see what is beautiful in our world. Well, many, many years ago as well, our community introduced a melody. And this melody is part of a nigun, the idea being that we can sing and just enjoy without even needing to know the words. And so I want to invite us, for those of us who know the melody, to sing along to this nigun. And for those of us for whom this is a new melody, let's let this melody wash over us. I promise, after a little bit, you'll get it. It goes like this. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 ya lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Let's do just that part, just that beginning. Student Rabbi Leah, maybe you'll go onto that side and I'll join onto this side. Let's help everyone learn this melody. Let's sing it together. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go. Ya lai 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 yai lai lai lai. It sounds beautiful. Yai lai 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 lai. Ya lai 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 yai lai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. There's another part goes like this. Yai lai ya lai 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 yai lai lai lai. Ya lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Ya lai 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 yai lai la lai. Yai lai la lai 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 lai. Back to the beginning. I want to see if we can hear just, student Rabbi Lee, let's see if we can hear just the Kahal's voices. Let's see if we can hear everyone. Here we go. Yeah. Yai lai la 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 yai lai la la yai lai la lai 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 la. Well, that was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Well, we're called on each Shabbat to bring in this holiday in a myriad of different ways, and so we know that gathering together helps us relax, helps bring our blood pressure down a little bit, right? We know that maybe having a good meal together offers us the opportunity to be with each other. By the way, that's the reason why we have challah, because when people ate challah, when they broke bread together, they sat together. And of course, we sing together as well. And so right there in our prayer books, and you'll find the words on page 19, there's the reminder to us to sing together, L'chu Neranana, an invitation to sing. Actually, I'm noticing it's on page 12. Sorry, not page 19. Page 19 is a great page, but it doesn't have the prayer book, or the prayer on it. Because the holiday feels a little bit sweeter when we get an opportunity to sing with one another. Sing together. Page 12 at the very top, you'll see L'chu Neranana. Again, this invitation to remind us to sing together, that something powerful happens when we have that opportunity to join our voices together. L'chu Neranana, yai lai 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 lai. La Adonai, yai lai lai la lai lai, Naria, yai lai 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 lai, B'tzur Yisheinu, yai lai lai la lai lai. Let us sing out to God, maker of all, pure and strong. Let all of creation from mountain to sea hear our song. L'chu Neranana, L'chu Neranana, yai lai 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 lai, La Adonai, yai lai lai la lai la, Naria, yai lai 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 la, B'tzur Yisheinu, yai lai lai la lai la. And for all of God's wonders and all of God's light, we rejoice. So now let us listen with all of our hearts to hear God's voice. L'chu Neranana, yai lai 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 lai, La Adonai, yai lai lai la lai la, Naria, yai lai 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 lai, B'tzur Yisheinu, yai lai lai la lai la, yai lai lai la lai la. Yai lai lai la lai la.
The next song we do in Kabbalat, in this portion of the service known as Kabbalat Shabbat, is Lecha Dodi, Come My Beloved. And the tune that we're about to do is one of my absolute favorites. I think there are, Lecha Dodi is one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for? There are just so many tunes for this song, right? And each one has a different vibe, a different feeling, a different energy. And this one that we're about to do is really beautiful because it transports us into another world, right? It transports us into a feeling of shalom, a feeling of peace. And that's what Shabbat is all about, right? Rest, relaxation, dreaming of the world as it should be, as it can be, and just dwelling in that sense of peace that this tune really provides us is a gift. So I hope that you'll join us in Lecha Dodi on page 20.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Hishmianu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad ushmo echad. B'shem ol tiferet v'li tila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva orech kumi uri. Uri, shir daberi, kavod Adonai, alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise and turn to the door through which we entered our sanctuary as we welcome Shabbat as if she were here to join us on her wedding day. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala gam besimcha uvetzoch olam toch emunei am segula boi chala lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. As we've entered into the holiday, please be seated. We've now warmed up our hearts, our souls, our voices so that we can, really enjoy the holiday. And so it's only fitting as we begin this holiday by lighting our Shabbat candles, by inviting up Naomi and David and Sarah and Miles to light the Shabbat candles this evening. Now, many of us will notice that our Shabbat candles don't look quite the same as they might otherwise be this Shabbat, this week, and every week. We recognize that not only are our Shabbat candles different, but our hearts are different as well. This is an opportunity this week and each and every week to turn our hearts to those in Israel. As we light a blue candle in addition to our other candles, we recognize again that this time is not as it normally is, perhaps not as it should be, certainly not as it should be. As we call for each and every member of our extended community, the members of our family, the hostages who are held to be brought home, and we call for peace in that region, all too troubled by violence. This Shabbat can be a reminder to us of what peace might look like in our hearts, and may the peace in our hearts make its way to every corner of our wide and troubled world. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat. We continue our service now with the words on page 28 of our prayer books. Page 28, giving thanks for being a part of a community that can welcome in a new adult in it, a new member of our community who might ask the questions of what it is that makes this world into the best place that it can be. Well, this work is done as one community. And so it is quite fitting then that this is a prayer that requires us to be with each other, requires a minyan, requires a community. And it is as one that I invite us to turn to those words on page 28 and to please rise in body or in spirit. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai ha'amevorach. Baruch Adonai ha'amevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. Page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, Umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmeroteim birakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mibnei choshech, v'choshech mibnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, uma'avdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai tzevaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv, haravim. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, the one on high, who speaks this evening into being. You skillfully open the gates of one time to another and alter the time, change the seasons of our world. You arrange the stars in their heavenly courses according to such beauty, as you are creator of the day and night, rolling light from darkness and darkness from light. You transform one into the other and give us the opportunity to see both. As Adonai Tzevaot is your name, ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. And so blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on this evening. We continue with Ahavat Olam on page 32. Ahavato Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Amcha Torah umitzvot Chukim umishpatim Otanu lemadeta Otanu lemadeta Kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu U'kumeinu na'asiach bechukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayim Le'orech yameinu Ubahem nege yomam balayla nege yomam balayla Tabat al tasir Mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael. Page 34. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Please be seated. I'd like to invite up Naomi to continue us in our prayer with leading us in the V'ahavta. Continue on page 36.
הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
So as we conclude that particular prayer, I'm going to turn to our teens who are here for the lock-in this evening. If anybody, by the way, wants to come at like 2, 3 in the morning, you'll see a group of teens still hanging out, right? But I want to ask our teens, how did Naomi do? Should we offer a Yasher Koach together? Yasher Koach! All right. Wow. It is a real sweet gift to be able to be led in prayer so well and so beautifully, Naomi. Yasher Koach. Let's continue with the prayer that is most likely the very first song that our community ever offered together. Finding themselves finally in a place of freedom, they found its purest and most profound, perhaps profound expression, and that was opening their voices in song. Words that were offered thousands and thousands of years ago and for generations have been echoed through the members of our community. And this evening, we share in those very same words. You'll find the words for the Mi Chamocha on page 40 of our prayer books. Yai lai lai la lai la lai la lai la lai yai lai lai la lai la lai la lai. Ya lai la lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya la lai lai, ya la lai lai lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha ne'edar ba'kodesh, nora te'ilot osei fele, nora tehilot osei fele. Malechutecha ra'u banecha bokei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze'eli anu ve'amru Ze'eli anu ve'amiru Adonai yimloch le'olam ba'ad Ya lai lai la lai la lai la lai ya lai 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 ya lai 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 lai. Well, our next prayer needs a little bit of an introduction. So there is a Hebrew word that shows up really only in Hebrew, and it doesn't translate into English. Any of our Hebrew speakers can jump in here. That et, and I always think it's not to be confused with a pen in Hebrew. spelled differently. The word et connects two different things together, and it shows up quite a few times, quite a bit in this next prayer. And I think that it's only fitting that when we find this particular et in our prayer to connect one from the other, and I'm going to again look at our teens over here. When we do et, what do we do on et? Yes, Andrew. All right, so on the count of three, let's do et all together. We'll do a practice et. 1, 2, 3. Et. That was pretty good. But I actually think that everyone over here can actually do a bigger et. Do you think you can do a bigger et than the teens? All right, so here we go. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Et. Oh, that was pretty good. All right, do you think you can do another et, a bigger et? All right, here we go. All right, Kai, I'm counting on you. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Et. I think that was pretty good. Let's do it. Yishamru, page 44. Let's sing together. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam. Oti leolam, oti leolam, Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam.
In a moment, we are going to pray the Amidah, the silent standing prayer that we are taught to say 3 times a day. But what's different about the Shabbat Amidah, that's different from the rest of the week, is that we're not supposed to ask God for things. During the rest of the week, we're allowed to say, to pray for strength, to pray for health, to pray for more money, to pray for whatever it is. But on Shabbat, we're supposed to stop. And we're supposed to rest and dwell in gratitude for our lives as they are, and the world as it is, and to let that be enough. Right? During the week, we're going and going and going, and we're thinking ahead to what we can be doing differently or what we want to be doing, and we're not taking stock of our lives as they are and all the gifts that we already have in our lives. So as we pray the Amidah together this evening, I'm going to invite you not to ask for anything. I'm going to invite you to dwell in gratitude, to think about all of the blessings in your life, big and small, and all that they do for you in this moment, and to enjoy it and just let it be enough. So on page 46, we will begin the Amidah. Please rise. Do we do it silently, right? We'll do it. Okay, yeah. So please rise for the Amidah on page 46.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufia gitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chaste Avot V'imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah, Rav Lehoshia, Mashifa Ruach Umarid Hagashem, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Sa'omech Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Memit Umahayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Kadoshim b'chol yom, Yehalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We'll continue silently, either using words on the pages to follow or other words that we might find in our hearts. Join together again on page 62. When you've completed your prayer, please be seated. Oh, say shalom. Shalom bimroma yase shalom. Oh, say shalom. Shalom bimroma. Hu yase shalom.
My husband, Sammy, and Sammy is sitting in the back. Raise your hand, Sammy. We have this practice every morning when we wake up of sharing our dreams with each other. Sammy tends to have very simple, straightforward dreams, and I tend to have crazy, vivid, weird dreams. And I am of the school of thought that dreams mean something. Sammy, on the other hand, thinks most dreams are meaningless, at least his. Well, I'm here to tell you today, Sammy, that Judaism is on my side and tells us that dreams are indeed very, very meaningful. The Talmud is full of discussion of dreams. The rabbis were obsessed with dreams. You can find their discussions on what dreams mean, the different kinds of dreams, the consequences of dreams. You can find this stuff all over the Talmud. And one of the rabbis, Rav Chisda, he says that an uninterpreted dream is like an unopened letter. So we are supposed to say our dreams out loud and try to figure out what they mean. This time of year, the month of Kislev, which is the month in which the celebration of Hanukkah falls, is known as the month of dreaming. Not just because it's dark and cold and we do a lot more sleeping than usual, but because most of the dreams that we hear about in the Torah are read during the month of Kislev. This week, we are reading Parshat Vayeshev, and Naomi will read it in Hebrew for us tomorrow and share her own words of wisdom about the dreams of this Parsha. But I want to talk about the power and meaning of the dreams that we specifically find in this week's Parsha. So we first are introduced in this Parsha to Joseph. Yes, Joseph of the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And at the very beginning of the Parsha, he's kind of this annoying, punky little kid who is always bragging to his brothers about these dreams he has of sheaves of wheat in the fields bowing down to him, of the stars and the moon and the sun in the sky bowing down to him. And his dreams become so annoying to his brothers that they plot to kill him, right? And many of you may be familiar with this story. In the end, he is not killed, but rather thrown into a pit and eventually sold off to slavery in Egypt. And when Joseph gets to Egypt, at first he is a servant in a general's home, and then eventually, after a series of sordid events, let's just say, he is thrown in prison in Egypt. In prison, he meets these two men, the Pharaoh's cupbearer and a baker, who both tell him of their crazy dreams. And he tells them, let me interpret them for you. I can tell you what they mean. And so the cupbearer tells about his dream of, oh no, Well, he tells about a dream of 3 cups full of wine and serving them to the Pharaoh. And Joseph says these 3 cups mean that in 3 days you will be released from prison and you will go back to your role of being the Pharaoh's cupbearer. And then the baker comes along and he's like, well, I had this dream about carrying 3 baskets of bread full of loaves of bread and them falling to the ground. And Joseph says, oof, that's not great, dude. Your dream means that in 3 days, you are going to be taken out of prison and you are going to be hanged. And indeed, after 3 days' time, these fates come true. And we learn that Joseph does indeed have this incredible ability to interpret dreams, which in this case predict the future. And it's interesting to see Joseph's growth over the course of this story. He starts as a dreamer who has these crazy dreams of grandeur, of fame, and perhaps fortune. And having those dreams ultimately gets him in trouble. And then finally, he becomes a dream interpreter. He has stopped dreaming, perhaps because life has not turned out the way he thought it would, and look where his dreams have got him, right? He instead becomes a dream interpreter, and he helps other people's dreams come true. Now, I think it's a little sad that Joseph stops dreaming, because dreaming is one of the most beautiful parts of life. But his ability to look at other people's dreams and find meaning and perhaps some hope or not in the dreams is quite powerful. And I think it shows that over the course of our lives, we play these different roles at different periods in our lives. When we're young, we still have our lives ahead of us. We have big dreams, and we should have big dreams. And as we live our lives, as we live out those dreams, some of which come true, some of which don't, we learn the meaning of what all that meant. And we are able to look at other people's dreams and help them figure out what it means for them, and to help those people fulfill their own dreams. So throughout our lives, we're supposed to be dreamers and dream interpreters, and to live out our dreams and help others live their dreams. And to learn from Joseph that, maybe sometimes there are moments when you share your dreams and moments when you keep it to yourself. That ultimately all dreams, Sammy, are meaningful. And they are worth talking about. And they are worth mining for whatever it is they mean. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Well, as we're called to think not only about ourselves, but just as we see Joseph making his way out of his own heart, his own mind, his own life, and noticing and offering up the blessings of the people around him, so too are we called today to offer that strength and support to the people around us as well. We know that healing comes in many different forms. And tonight as we pray, we do pray for the strength of our medical professionals to be able to offer the care that's necessary for those in our families, in our circles, to get better. And we know that there is another strength also that we call for. And that is a strength of one another to offer the healing and the care that allows for a full recovery of spirit, of our heart, our souls, for those of us who are in need. And so when you came into our sanctuary, you were handed a pamphlet. I invite you to open up that pamphlet now and take a look. On the inside is a list of those members of our community who are in need of healing. And that is a healing of the body or a healing of the mind. If you see someone in that list, the name of someone that perhaps you haven't talked to in a little bit, I invite you to reach out to that person, to offer to them a bit of healing in the form of a text message or a phone call, something that can let them know that you are thinking of them. That is a part of the healing that we call for this evening. For those of us who are joining our service online, I'd like to invite you to share the names of people that you're thinking of in the chat at this time. And for all of us, I invite us to turn our hearts to those members of our community who have recently come onto our Misha Berach list. I invite us to think especially of those members of our community who are in need of healing. Vivienne Bloomer Gonzalez, Mark Ellis, Edith Flitt, George Goldberg, Michael Lopez, and Christine Orfal. And if you are joining us in our sanctuary this evening and you're thinking of someone in particular, I invite you to rise now and to share their name as my eyes meet yours, so that we might all hold that person in our hearts as we offer a prayer for healing. Well, let's turn together to the words on page 253. Page 253 of our prayer books, and let's sing. Mi sheberach avotenu Mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us sing. Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We continue our service on page 282. Page 282 for the words of Aleinu. Please rise in body or in spirit. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, Lateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Please be seated. Well, our thoughts now turn to those members of our community who have died in recent days or in this season in years past. Each and every one of us needs the opportunity to call up to mind the memories of people who have come before us, knowing that our lives are enriched by their presence. And so each time we gather, we take a moment to offer our prayer for mourning and to hold the space with those members of our community who are in mourning. This Shabbat, I invite us to turn our hearts especially to those members of our community who are in a period of Shloshim, observing the 30 days after the death of someone near to them. And so I invite us to turn our hearts to all of those near as we remember Beth Leanne Moreno. And as we remember James Hall, I invite us to turn our hearts to Nancy and Ron, Carmel, Oren, and David. Additionally, the yard site, the anniversary of the death, this week falls for Gabrielle Barr, Howard Bushinsky, Emil Butler, Nat Chasen, Sarah Chafer, Hans Danziger, Joseph Iser, Gabriel Elias, Nancy Engerman, Dorothy Faddick, Donald James Fike, Harvey Foreman, Arthur Gardner, Harold Goodman, Brana Greenberg, Della Hanna, David Hochstadt, Lillian Jablon, Norman Caddison, Jules Lowenthal, Melville Megida, Irene Mendel, Ted Phillips, Louis Richmond, Clara Rotman, Reuben Schaefer, Debbie Sekel, Alex Sirkin, Herbert Sommer, Leonard Strelitz, David Swit, Samuel Wilkowski, Robert Yarborough, Zambel Yoje, and Henry Zelnick. If you are here having suffered a recent loss or are thinking of someone in particular on this Shabbat, it's our custom to invite you to rise first to share their name as my eyes meet yours. I'd now like to invite all of us to rise together as one as we offer the words on page 294. Page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach yirtei v'amlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mebarach le'olam olmei maya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Kudisha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Osei shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha. May the memories of those near to us always, each and every day, be a blessing to us and those around us. I invite us together to say, amen. Please be seated. Well, we have a number of things going on at Temple Israel, even though Hanukkah coincides with a very convenient winter break for many of us. And so I know that we are going to be traveling to many corners of our fair country and globe, but we still have a lot going on at Temple Israel, as we often do. And so I'd like to invite up a member of our board of directors, Mark Dressner, to share about some of the goings-on.
Shabbat Shalom, Hag Sameach, Mazel Tov. It's great to see all the people here for you. It's really cool. If you weren't all here, there'd be 8 of us. So thank you all for coming. And thank you to our ONIG co-sponsors, David Jacobson and Sarah Corman, to honor their daughter Naomi's bar mitzvah, and Natalie Swit, also in memory of her father, David A. Swit, on the 25th anniversary of his death. Tomorrow morning, Rabbi Fox, join Rabbi Fox for our weekly Torah study beginning at 8:45. It's going to be in person and Zoom here at Alban Hall. And then tomorrow, of course, is the bat mitzvah at 10:30. Next Shabbat, December 27th at 6 o'clock, will be our Hanukkah Shabbat service. And you should bring your Hanukkah. So we have our massive, everyone lights their Hanukkah at the same time and the fire alarms go off. But it's really cool. And then coming up on Sunday, January 5th at 12:30, we have our Joys of Jewish Learning Jewish Studio Project Workshop. Also to mention, on December 29th at 4 o'clock at 2nd and PCH is the big menorah lighting there, where we, Chabad and ourselves, do it together. So it's really cool. So as many of you show up, because it's really cool when we get to mingle together. I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about 2 other things. It's so cool when you have the mic. As many of you might know, my son Trevor and Brandon Brown, Sharon's son, are in Israel right now on Birthright. So hopefully all of you all will be going there at some point. Trevor is a senior in college and Brandon is a junior in college. And I just want to share a conversation that took place between my son and my oldest, my best Israeli friend, Dalia. So Dalia texted him and said, "Hi, Trevor, how is it so far?" Trevor says, "It's so much fun. I really love this country." And then she says, "Good for you, but did you experience the sirens yesterday?" And he said, "Not yesterday, but when I arrived in Tel Aviv, within the first hour, there were sirens." So within the first hour of arriving, they had to go to a shelter at the airport. And Dalia said, "Frightening?" And he said, "Yes, definitely. It was a weird reality." Just kind of understanding what the reality of Israel's celebration and wonderfulness, and then Yemen shooting rockets. Anyway, so Birthright is really interesting. And then lastly, as most of the regulars know, at 10 o'clock on Sundays at Bayshore and Ocean, where the bike path starts on Belmont Shore, we have a weekly walk to remember the hostages. We walk to 2nd Street and we have hostage posters, and we make the population of Long Beach remember that there's still hostages out there. There are 230 of these groups going on around the world. And the hostage families, we make videos every week, and the hostage families find a lot of comfort in it to know that there are people everywhere remembering them and wishing they come home. So I encourage any of you, if you're here for the bat mitzvah this weekend and you're free Sunday morning at 10, please join me. We can have a real good group this week. Every month they have a recap where the people all around the world, they do one video. You get one video per month, and they put a big recap together. So it'd be great if this was our biggest weekend to support the hostages. Anything else? Okay, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for indulging me.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much, Mark. I want to mention just a couple of things in addition as well. The first is that I hope you don't mind, Daniel, we miss you this week, but we had our very own Daniel Smith, who often will play at services, but said something, I don't know, something about the niece, bat mitzvah, something like that. So, but know that we missed you, and we will look forward to having your beautiful music in about a month from now. And our services are just simply not what they're not services, not Shabbat, without our very own David York. And so it is very important to me to be able to say, thank you, David, for bringing your beautiful and powerful music this Shabbat and every Shabbat. It is such a tremendous gift, such a tremendous gift. I believe that when we are faced with a worldwide problem that is more complicated than any essay or any book has been able to solve, perhaps even more complicated than even a generation has been able to put their hearts and minds together to work on, that we then take those things and place them in the world of our spirit. We don't let go of them. We don't say that something, for example, like peace is simply not possible, but we also don't say that it's simple or easy. Instead, we allow our spiritual lives to try and inform what that might look like. And so I think it is quite fitting that this Shabbat and many Shabbatot, that we would come together and offer a service just like this to remind ourselves of what peace does look like on a small scale, so that we might be able to bring that to the wider world, one small step at a time, knowing that there is a far distance between what is the spiritual life of our world and the tangible life. Nevertheless, the life of the Spirit is just as essential. And so, I invite us this evening, as we so often do, to offer up an image of what that soul, or what that peace might look like with our closing prayer. Oseh Shalom is an invitation to us to find peace in our world and to bring it out into the world around us. And so I'd like to invite us to please rise. And for those of us who choose, we're going to place an arm on the shoulders of the person next to us, perhaps on either side. And let's sing a bit of this peace, a bit of shalom this evening as we conclude our prayer, our service together. Oh, say shalom bimromav, Juya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Well, we'll join together in our foyer for Kiddush and Motzi as we continue our celebration. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Yasher Koach. Motzi. Oh, thank you. Sometimes it kind of opens a little bit. I'll close it. So the truth is for tonight that I was just kind of looking at the teams and a couple other people and thought, well, maybe the service is getting a little bit longer. And actually, halachically in the Talmud, it says you can do all kinds of things if you feel like people's spirits are kind of not with the service. Very much so. I do too. Actually, I was a little bit. It was a little hard for me to do, but I knew that Bishamri was coming up afterwards, and that's why I got him up and jumping and all that. I was like, I'm gonna see if I can wake up his teens. So